You know, there's this secret language of power being spoken all around us, one that most of us were never taught. Well, today, we're going to decode it.
No, seriously, think about that for a second. What if you could walk into any room and, just with your presence, totally shift the dynamic, get access to places you're not supposed to be, or command attention? So check this out. A group of artists in Mexico City decided to put this whole idea to the test. They created this amazing performance art project called Mimetismo CDMX. Think of it like a real-world experiment, a kind of social hacktivation to crack the hidden codes that run our daily lives. They really zeroed in on two codes in particular, one you can't hear and one you just can't miss.
All right, first up, the single most underestimated tool in all of communication, silence. Yeah, we usually think of it as just, an empty space, a void. But what if it's actually a weapon? What if it's a strategy, a real form of power?
I mean, just look at this breakdown of how we communicate. When we're talking about conveying emotion, the actual words we use, they're a tiny slice of the pie, just 7%. The huge majority of the message comes through our tone of voice and, get this, our body language.
Let that sink in for a minute. When you choose to be silent, you're not actually stopping the conversation. You're just amplifying the other 93%. You're basically forcing everyone else to pay attention to what's really being communicated through your posture, your presence, and your intent.
And this isn't some passive thing. As you can see here, research shows silence is an active, strategic move. In a high-stakes negotiation, for example, a pause of just 4 seconds can shift someone's brain from being emotional and reactive to being more analytical. It shows you're in control, it signals confidence, and, more often than not, it makes the other person so uncomfortable they start talking just to fill the void, revealing exactly what they're thinking. It's a total masterclass in authority.
Okay, so here's the crucial part, the thing you absolutely have to understand. Context is everything. Silence is never neutral. When you choose to be silent, that is an act of power. It's you taking control. But when silence is forced on you, it becomes a tool of oppression. The entire meaning flips based on who has the power to speak and who has the power to stay quiet. Now let's get to our second code. And this one, it operates even faster than silence. We're talking milliseconds, the time it takes for someone's eyes to land on you. This is the code of appearance, and it literally shapes reality before you even open your mouth. There's actually a scientific term for this whole phenomenon. It's called enclothed cognition. It's the idea that what we wear doesn't just send a message to other people, it sends a powerful message back to ourselves. The symbolic meaning of an outfit, plus the physical feeling of wearing it, can literally change our confidence, our posture, and even the way we think.
And if you need proof, just look at this classic study from 1974. Researchers had a guy on the street ask strangers to do something simple, like pick up a piece of litter. Okay, so when he wore a security guard uniform, a whopping 92% of people did it. In a business suit, that number dropped to less than half. And in just regular casual clothes, only 30%. Nothing changed except the costume.
And that experiment just perfectly sums up this core idea. In the fast-paced, impersonal world we live in, we don't have time to get to know someone's character. We just read the codes. And a uniform is one of the most powerful codes for authority there is. So you can think of your clothes as a kind of social permission slip. As you can see here, high-legitimacy costumes, like a doctor's scrubs or a sharp suit, they grant you access. People just assume you belong, and they don't question you. But low-legitimacy outfits can do the exact opposite. They can trigger suspicion, more surveillance, and avoidance. Your costume can be the thing that decides if you're trusted, watched, or just plain ignored. So, we have the unheard code of silence and the visible code of appearance. The artists behind the Mimetismo project wanted to figure out how to master both of them. They called this the art of mimicry. And the whole idea of mimetismo, what it all boils down to is making a very intentional choice between two very different strategies. And that choice comes down to this duality right here. On one hand, you can use camouflage. That means blending in, matching the social environment so you become almost invisible. This lets you move around, observe, and get access without causing any friction. On the other hand, you can use contrast. This is the opposite. You intentionally break the visual patterns to draw all the attention to yourself, creating friction and becoming impossible to miss.
And right here, this is it. This is the key takeaway from this whole experiment. The ultimate power isn't about being loud or quiet, or being seen or unseen. It's about having the awareness and the agency to consciously choose your strategy in any given moment.
So, What does all this mean for you? How can you start to notice these hidden codes operating in your own life?
Well, let's do a quick recap. Remember, your words are only 7% of your emotional message. Choosing to be silent is a powerful tool of authority. What you wear is literally a form of social permission. It dictates whether people will trust you, watch you, or ignore you. And real power, true power, is having the ability to choose when you want to be visible. Which brings us right back to the central question, the one at the very heart of the Mimetismo project. Is true power found in the ability to move through the world completely unseen, or is it found in the courage to become impossible to ignore? The answer, it seems, is knowing how and when to be both.